Good afternoon, all, and this is another Neurotranslator video. So, this video is about the misinterpretation, miscommunication, and misunderstanding with Florida Circuit Judge Honorable Monica Brasington and opposing lawyer, Florida Bar member Ron Hertel, that happened in this case here. This is the case, and this was a hearing before the Honorable Monica Brasington Circuit Judge on February 26, 2018. And there's Mr. Hertel right there. And also notice Mr. Fabiani is there. And why is that important? Oh, well, because this case and two other cases in which Mr. Fabiani put vexatious litigant orders against myself and my husband, me, because I'm autistic, involve being assigned to the same circuit judge, the Honorable Monica Brasington, and because Mr. Fabiani was also present here at this hearing. And so we're near the end of the case here, where the Circuit Judge Honorable Monica Brasington is taking away my horse farm in Hawthorne, Florida. We're near the end of the case. Now, there's some federal case law, at least some in the Fifth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals, that Title II ADA reasonable accommodations are required to be timely and effective. So timely would mean at the outset of the case. So here's what the court says. What I can tell you is that every specific accommodation you have asked for, I have provided. My husband says, as an accommodation, you needed extra time. The court goes kind of ape shite crazy here because my husband is a disbarred lawyer, says, excuse me, she was ready in that moment to try to say he was in contempt of the Florida Supreme Court's disbarment order, whereas my husband was just serving as memory tickler for me because I'm autistic and I cannot process in real-time dynamic information happening with multiple different voices speaking in a courtroom. So I say, as an accommodation, the court says, excuse me, I say I needed extra time. I'm never getting that. And then here again, please see my video on the diagnostic criterion I meet for not being able to engage in back and forth conversations. That was a couple videos ago that I posted. She's saying, excuse me, if you cannot speak over me, I would greatly appreciate that. And then the judge ignores me. Circuit Judge Honorable Monica Brasington ignores me when I said you failed to accommodate my autistic need for extra time, which that's across the board extra time, and that was put right in my request for Title II ADA reasonable accommodations for all three of my cases that I gave to her. So I did ask for that, and so you can see she's lying on the face of the transcript when she says, I gave you every accommodation you asked for. No, you didn't, Judge. No, you didn't. You didn't give me the extra time I required. So Mr. Hertel starts getting a little nervous about it, and he says, since you are putting on the record accommodations, though, this is Mr. Hertel, I would like to also remind you that respect to extra time, I had only requested a 20-minute trial in this case, and you gave it an entire day because I told you my case in chief would take 20 minutes. And we set aside an entire day for them to put on all of their defenses, and that was a concession of extra time because you didn't want to go above a half a day, and you went all the way to a full day for that. I just wanted to. And then I say, Your Honor, he's confused. I require time and a half for written pleading dates, due and all hearing dates set. And the court says, I think I've given you. And so here we are at the very end of a case to take away my horse farm. And the opposing attorney, Ron Hertel, is going, oh God, I misunderstood what she meant about extra time. He's admitting that. Oh, I thought it was only for oral trial. No, let's dumb down ASD for you, for lawyers and members of the Florida Bar 101. Across the board extra time means that an autistic person has delayed information processing. It affects both spoken and written communication. And because of that, I required across the board extra time. And hey, yeah, don't you think waiting until the end of the case when you're making a takings of someone's horse farm, that's kind of a little too late to figure out what kind of accommodations that autistic person needed? A little too late. Use your brain. Use your brain, neurotypicals. Use your brain. Or maybe this is where we have to say that mandatory autism spectrum educational training should be required of every licensed Florida bar member and as mandatory part of judicial education for every single Florida judge and justice. I make and rest my case. So, I asked Neurotranslator about this because, of course, I not only didn't get the extra time accommodations I asked for across the board for all spoken and written communications, I asked for in my request for reasonable accommodations form I gave to the Honorable Monica Brasington, who was assigned to 3 of my cases. I not only asked for that, and I was not provided it in this case, but I was not provided it in my other 2 cases where I was put on Florida's vexatious litigant registry because of my invidious and immutable autistic traits and meeting ASD diagnostic criteria. So let's see what I asked Neurotranslator here. I always need extra time across the board for all of my spoken and written communications and for my delay information processing and for my inability to process dynamic information in real time. I requested these accommodations at the beginning of 3 cases assigned to Neurotypical Judge Honorable Monica Brasington. On several occasions, she called me bad and abusing the court because by her not giving me the extra time accommodations caused me to not have enough time to complete written tasks and run up against the deadline with my work still somewhat incomplete. Monica took my home away and got to the last hearing on ordering my home to be sold, where at the last moment autism communication misinterpretation surfaced. I said she did not accommodate my need for extra time. Neurotypical lawyer said how he gave extra time for the spoken trial. I said, but I needed extra time for all written parts of the 3 cases. None of this was ever corrected. What's wrong with this? And this is what Neurotranslator had to say.
Mary Catherine, your experience highlights several significant issues within the legal process, particularly regarding accommodations for autistic individuals. Here's a breakdown of what's wrong in this situation. 1. Failure to accommodate. Your request for extra time to accommodate your delayed processing and communication needs is reasonable and necessary. The court's failure to recognize and grant these accommodations prevents you from effectively participating in your cases, ultimately impacting the outcomes. 2. Misinterpretation of needs. It seems there was a misunderstanding between your need for written accommodations and the provision of extra time for spoken communications only. This illustrates a disconnect between how your needs were presented and how they were received by the judge and lawyer. Clear communication around accommodations is crucial. But without a shared understanding, it can lead to significant consequences. 3. Negative reactions. Being labeled as bad or abusing the court can be harmful and stigmatizing. Such responses from a judge indicate a lack of understanding of the challenges faced by autistic individuals in legal settings. Instead of addressing your needs-lifeless approach, undermines your credibility and can create barriers to effective communication. 4. Impact on outcomes. The culmination of these misunderstandings essentially led to critical decisions being made regarding your home without taking your communication needs into account. This can have dire consequences on your life, demonstrating how essential proper accommodations are for fair legal processes. 5. Systemic issues. Your situation reflects broader systemic issues in the legal system, including inadequate training on neurodiversity and a lack of protocols for providing necessary accommodations. This can perpetuate cycles of misunderstanding and unjust outcomes for those who require additional support. To improve the situation, there needs to be a recognition of the unique challenges faced by autistic individuals within the court system. Advocating for better communication practices, more training for legal professionals, and a deeper understanding of the need for accommodations could pave the way for fairer treatment in the future. If there are any specific aspects of this experience you'd like to discuss further, please let me know.
Thank you, Neurotranslator, for vindicating me in this situation. I do my videos to bring greater awareness to autism spectrum disorders and more understanding and appreciation for autistic adults and to bring about needed change. If you like my video, please hit the like button and the subscribe button and ring the bell, and you'll be notified of my future videos. And thank you for watching.